The invention of paper. Ever since the invention of writing, people have tried to write simple things on papyrus or deerskin. It took about 3,000 years to invent paper. Paper was invented in China around 100 BC. In 105 AD, under the Houthi Empire of the Han Dynasty, a government official in China named Sai Lun was the first to establish the paper industry. In ancient times, it was usually written on bamboo or on pieces of silk. But silk was expensive and bamboo was heavy, so these materials were not easy to use and manufacture. How did Sai Lun make paper? It seems that he mixed the very fine and chopped bark of the mulberry tree and hemp plant with water and made it into a flat paste, then pressed it to remove the water and dried it in front of the sun. He may have got his idea from Sai Lun. Paper was a great success and was used throughout China, which later spread to other parts of the world through the Silk Road, and in 650 AD. The paper also reached Japan, Korea, and Iran. Thousands of years ago, after the people of China started using paper, people all over Eurasia used paper. In the 400s, the people of India also made paper, and in the 600s, paper reached Korea and Japan. With the expansion of the Islamic Empire to Pakistan around 700 AD, people in the Abbasid Caliphate also started using paper. For the merchants of the Silk Road, paper had a great advantage. The ink was absorbed, so the writings could not be erased, and this made it more difficult to forge documents. At first, merchants bought their paper from China, Central Asia, and India, but in 800 AD, manufacturers in Islamic countries made their own paper, and this paper reached West Asia. People used it instead of the booklets that were prepared in China and India. They would turn it into a book. This design spread to the east, and around 1000 AD, people even made books in China and India. Around 600 AD, the printing of wooden papers was invented, and in 740 AD, the first printed newspaper was seen in China. China has long guarded the secret of its paper production and tried to destroy other Eastern manufacturing centers to ensure a monopoly. However, in 751 AD, the Tang army was defeated by the Ottoman Turks in a mighty battle at Talas River. Some Chinese soldiers and paper workers were arrested and taken to Samarkand. Arabs learned paper making from Chinese prisoners and built the first paper industry in Baghdad in 793 AD. They also kept this secret, and Europeans did not learn about paper until several centuries later. The Egyptians learned paper production from the Arabs at the beginning of the 20th century. Around 1100 AD, the paper industry was introduced to North Africa, and in 1150 it was introduced to Spain due to the Crusades, and the first paper industry was established in Europe. Europeans still used deerskin for writing or bought it from Egypt at high prices. But soon the situation changed until in 1250 AD, the Egyptian paper production technology reached Italy, and the Italians produced good paper and sold it all over Europe. People in Germany had also learned to produce paper. They were more interested in learning to print. Were Chinese, and a man named Gutenberg produced the first printed Bible in 1453. At this time, people in the Aztec country, modern Mexico, had also independently invented paper. Their paper was made from the fibers of the agave plant, and they used it to make books. The first paper mill in North America was built in 1690 in Philadelphia.